Hello, welcome back. This is your captain speaking on behalf of Tartarian Airlines. And we are going to another strange destination. This is our first trip in Turkmenistan. And this is the beach resort of Avaza, Turkmenistan, right off the Caspian Sea. And it is basically considered a ghost town. So we are going to take a little propeller plane and go take a closer look. So buckle your safety belts. This will be a kind of a short trip at this weird beach resort that basically is, well, it's a tourist destination for Turkmenistan, yes, and this technically is an international airport that we're over right now. I don't know if it has actually accepted an international flight yet, though. But a lot of people do travel from other parts of Turkmenistan to come out here and spend their vacation. Supposedly there are some 5-star resorts, and there might be, but what you're about to see may deter you from wanting to go here. It just like the next city that I'm about to do in Turkmenistan, Ashgabat, the capital. Through pictures, it looks really nice and it looks amazing, and they wanted this area to be the Dubai of Turkmenistan. They were trying to build buildings, that looked futuristic and have water parks, stuff like that. But the reality is this beach resort is right next to a lot of oil refineries. And that basin of water to the right, that is the most populated or the most polluted area of water in all of Turkmenistan, and it might be in all of that continent. It might be the most polluted because these oil refineries there, they just dump their water, and I'm guessing that's why they have those causeways there. But still, I have seen some reports of leaking in the causeways, and this supposed Dubai of Turkmenistan has their beaches right next to these plants. So looks maybe deceiving in the pictures, and that's why we're doing this trip, to get a better look. I had stated earlier that it's a ghost town because all the stories I've read, all the blogs and articles of people that have visited this resort town, often they claim that they're the only ones in these hotels. There's no one on the streets, but yet it's full of workers. There's workers manicuring the lawn and cutting hedges and really staying busy. And none of them actually live there. There's no residents in this town, and they all get bussed in from that airport town, basically. So here are the real images, I guess, from Google Maps. And these are photos taken by people who have stayed at these hotels. And not all of them have written reviews or anything like that. They just shared their photos. And I will go through. Honestly, this first one was probably one of the best. I was like, wow, that is going to be, if they're all like that, that's going to be pretty nice. And that does look really nice. From far away, I guess I would say it looks really nice. And then, so far, I'm seeing like, okay, there's a little bit of, deterioration, but it's really not much. It still looks, pretty decent. Looks pretty nice. The beach doesn't really look that great. And yeah, I'm gonna try and show the foyer of each of these places. And I didn't even realize until really the nighttime picture that this thing is modeled after a boat. And that's kind of when I started thinking like, this is a little cheesy. I know, like some countries are years behind the United States in like vehicles. Communist countries have like the older cars and stuff like that for some reason, and they also kind of build weird buildings. And I don't know, it's just I haven't really gotten a communist vibe out of this resort town yet. And I don't know what I'm seeing so far. It's okay, so far it's things are looking pretty good. How this place came about, how this idea came about, was the Supreme Leader. And even look at that, the supermarket looks pretty decent, white marble. Look at those cool antennas or the light fixtures. That symbolism is just everywhere. That Star of David thing or whatever people think want it to be. From afar, this looks pretty nice, right? I mean, some of the technology used, some of these are far stuff, but then you see like the streets and stuff, and it's like, oh man. But so anyways, yeah, the Supreme Leader, he said that he wanted this to be the Dubai of Turkmenistan. So they spent a bunch of money building all these hotels and resorts and all these little tiny houses that you see like here. Like look at this. Look, it's not very quality stuff. You can see the spacers. There should be like caulk on the bottom, that baseboard there. It's all, everything's kind of just dirty. And I understand it's in the desert, but still, if it's a 5-star, it's got to be clean. And these are all like basically resort homes, all these. And that's the community pool for that resort home area. I don't know, that could have been like a supermarket, or the big public pool possibly. But yeah, this was just built by or an idea of the Supreme Leader, and look at that. Oh yeah. So I've also heard some pretty bad reviews. This one particular person stayed in the hotel, one of those. Oh, look at that. And the water looked like that. Like the sink water was like brown, and it started gurgling and stuff. And then like the shower was like, the shower head was like hanging out of something. It wasn't very stable, and so they asked for another room. And the people at the front were like, oh yeah, of course, you can pick any room on your floor, because there's no one there. Like, they're in all these places, all the restaurants that these people eat at, there's no one ever there. To stay at one of these hotel rooms, it's about $70 a night, and the average wage that people make per week is like maybe $300. Oh no, I think that's per month. Yeah, every month they make about $300 or $400. The people who come in here and work, so they're making like $90 a week to get bussed down here, work all day, and there's never any tourists there. It seems really rough, and so then I was like, well, you know what, let's take a little break here, and I just had an idea, and sure enough, look at this. I actually literally, I was not expecting to see this, but this looks like old ruins, and apparently the former town, like just south of where we are now, that town that we're just starting to explore, apparently the supreme leader, look at this. This is just weird. The supreme leader actually tore down every single building on that coast. Every single building that is there is all brand new, and it was something else before. And when we get to Ashgabat next, the capital, there was a major earthquake that happened, and it pretty much wiped out the entire town of Ashgabat. Whereas this island, or this beach resort, is documented that it was actually torn down. Not an earthquake, but just torn down. So I wonder how many other old buildings there were. I don't want to get too far away from our main objective, but I'm just interested in all this stuff over here now. Let's see what else was here. Because all of the things I read is that this is pretty much just, it's way out there, even for the people who live in Turkmenistan. Like, it's pretty far to come out here. And then for you to spend, basically going out and drinking and stuff, you're gonna end up spending a whole month's salary to just come out here and blow it for the weekend. You know what I mean? Like, why build a whole town like that? Why build such huge and so many buildings? Because what you're about to see, like what you just saw already, is just a taste of what they built. And it just looks so North Korean. On the outside, it looks great, like nice white marble, but then once you actually sit on the balcony and you're sitting there and enjoying some food, you realize, like, oh my god, there's not even any caulking in between the tiles. So it's just, the stuff isn't made good. Another report that I read was that even though the building was built 4 years ago, it just looks like it has been decaying for much longer. So I'm not sure what's up with that. It's like they build something nice, but then they can't really keep it up. It's just really like, I don't know, like you see Las Vegas, like, man, I've been in a lot of the casinos there, and yeah, some are better than others, but each one has been better than what I've seen here. Like, the inside of the hotels are almost like what I would see on Fremont Street. Like, this reminds me of buildings on Fremont Street. Like, this is kind of like Little League, what they're trying to do here. But let's go ahead and continue. Let's get back on target. We already saw all of this. And, I'm also hearing about the food not being that good in all those hotels. It's fully staffed. But to me, if I'm going to go out somewhere there and eat, it's going to be actually at this place. I've seen a lot of the pictures of the food, and I think every night I would go and eat here. I'm not sure what that is, but all the other pictures I've seen, that looks way better than the other ones. But anyways, let's get back to these hotels. Um, so let's see. Yeah, I kind of glanced over a little bit, but yeah, I did hear the brown water coming from the sinks from multiple people who went to go visit there. So it's not really an isolated thing. It's not like only one uh, unit had that problem. That is apparently the local police. Just joking. I think they were like a karate team that were in town for a national. This is like where they go to celebrate. Like if you do good, these are where a lot of some of the games are played. The national games. They have a stadium. They're really into sports. But really, I'm just focusing on the hotels here because, you know, when I first saw the pictures, I was like, wow, this looks absolutely amazing. This looks, you know, crazy. How have I never heard of this before? And it's really they want tourists to come here, but I think they know that if too many tourists come here, then too much information about the culture is going to be exposed. As far as like there's only two books that are allowed to be read in school, I believe, and one is the Quran, and then the other is is a biography book. Maybe it might be an autobiography of the leader, the first supreme leader. I'm not even going to pronounce his name correctly, so he went by Turkmenbashi, though, leader of all Turkmen. And he has a book about himself and the Quran. Those are the only two books that you're allowed to read in school. And everything was by his design. Basically, he's a god, kind of like how they perceive Kim Jong-un or whoever, Lil Kim. You know, he was born in a volcano on the top of a mountain by a golden unicorn dragon, something like that. And they actually believe it. It's the same thing with this. It's just a totalitarian dictatorship country. And I've also read that the decline rate for visas are 90% for Russian citizens. I hear that some other countries have a higher rate of acceptance for visas, and you have to send an application first in order to be allowed to come here. Same thing with the next town we'll visit, which is Ashgabat, is you have to send in an application, and they also say do not book your flight before you get accepted, because the decline rate is very high. Also, if you do get accepted to come into this country on a 4 or 5 day visa, tourist visa, you have to have a guide. And so the guide drives you to wherever you want to see, wherever you want to go. Like in Ashgabat, there are some other crazy locations besides just a town. But it's basically a tour guide that you have to be with, and then they take you to the hotels and blah blah blah. They take you to this water park, and then they pick you up. They're basically your chauffeur, and they're probably government, just like in North Korea. But yeah, if you do come here, man, if you do and you do get accepted, I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool, although I would definitely bring my own bottled water, like a whole bunch, or maybe buy as much bottled water in the stores as possible and use them to brush your teeth and even take a bath with, because I would not trust the sinks and the pipes. Um, so I'm trying to remember some other interesting facts about this place. They say it's all like white marble, but I don't know. I think maybe they do have some white marble in some areas, like like the foyer or whatever. But you'll see more what I'm talking about when we get to Ashgabat. I think these are pretty much shoddily made. Like, maybe it's like white concrete or something like that, but or you know what, maybe they build the building and then they just put marble tile over the front, you know what I mean? But they try to make it look like marble hotels, and really it's just they're just not. I don't think they are. From some of the reports I've read. Now, oh yeah, now this brings me to another. Okay, so that looked really nice, that light thing. And look at this antenna too. Now, someone made a remark. One of the actually, this is from a couple people, that the entire town is lit up. The, did you see those particular? The entire town is lit up at night. For who? And yes, they do refine a lot of oil and natural gas. They're like the third or fourth largest in all of Europe, or maybe the whole world. I don't know, for natural gas. And they do have a lot of oil. But they made a remark, and I don't even think they realize what they were talking about. Is there's nobody here, but yet the whole town is lit up at night. And then they made a comment saying, like, well, that must be a big electric bill unless they get it for free. And I was like, I don't really believe the whole modern day, governments using the Antiquitech that I've seen, the connected energy, and the points on the light posts. But I mean, to me, I actually think they're using the free energy for these light poles at least. So I've never seen. There's no cables coming from those antennas. I thought I saw some cable coming from one far away, but I'm really starting to think that they might be using some free energy technology, and it'll work no matter how it looks, right? Like, it can either be a metal pole with an antenna on the top, or maybe it has to be those intricate tops and bottoms, so that it could coil up the energy and save it for, I don't know. But I saw in the pictures that people actually took those weird power antennas, and then I heard another person say how it's amazing how they light up the whole place just for nobody. Like, the whole time, like at a restaurant like that, look at that, they're the only people there. All these boats are probably that's supposed to be their yacht club. They want you to think that this is Dubai and it's just busy, full of people, but yet they don't want anybody there. And maybe the reason why, maybe what they do in the application process is they look and see, like, does he have a YouTube channel? Does he have this? Does he do that? And if you're just a sheep wanting to go, oh, I just heard about this place, and you're not going to do any kind of investigation, I think they probably accept you. But for Tartarian Airlines, I don't think I would get accepted to come here because I pointed out what I think is usage of free energy in the modern day time. So I like to debunk, those claims, and I like to say like, no, they they use oil and natural gas, and they actually did give electricity, water, salt, and something else. They gave their population that free until this latest president took over, and now they have to pay for salt, water, electricity, and whatever else that thing is. I forgot. But that's just really interesting right there. I'm pointing out some things. Go back and hit pause on some things. If you are more interested in looking at them, or just go look at this place in general and look for yourself. But yeah, there was definitely. In the books, it's written that they demolished the entire town prior. But how long was that there prior that they demolished? A lot of interesting things with this place. Out here in the middle of nowhere, on the edge of a really, like, no one really likes the Baltic Sea. It's not really pretty. It's not really warm. It's a weird canal right here, and that's that polluted one. So hope you enjoyed everything, and I'm looking forward to the next video. Hope you are too. Peace.